What's up, y'all? It's Angel, the Queen Millennial. Today, I want to talk about attribution bias and how we're way too judgmental. This is going to be a story that spans over 3 years, and it starts when I start therapy in 2018, and I am struggling with a bunch of things, and I go to therapy, and I know I need therapy. But when I go to therapy, I don't want to talk about the things that matter, right? Because those things are hard to talk about. And so I remember one session, I went to therapy and I started complaining about a coworker. Let's say this coworker's name is, I don't know, the Cookie Monster, okay? Cookie Monster, CM. So CM is one of my coworkers, and I'm trying to figure out which pronoun I should use. All right, I'm gonna use the she pronoun because most of my coworkers are females anyway. So she was not that week at work. She was not being very helpful, and I got really annoyed and was just like very annoyed with the whole thing with the coworker. And I don't know if it was just that instance or like multiple instances where I would get annoyed at like random things. I don't even remember anymore, which is like how unimportant this was to bring up at therapy where I'm paying somebody like $300 an hour. Anyway, the first session that I brought this up, my therapist was like talking about it and like telling me like, well, what do you do? And I kind of said like, I don't know, I just like kind of avoid her. She was like, well, that doesn't really help you really like understand where she's coming from, right? And that doesn't really allow you to like understand and empathize with her. And her whole point, and the point that she made multiple times to me, was that behavior is always caused, right? All behavior is caused, and every behavior kind of has like a reason behind it, right? And so I was like, okay, whatever. And I don't know, what am I supposed to do with that? So the next session, I brought it up again, and I got called out for basically not trying to talk about important things. And that's a whole nother story. So my therapist said this, and I did not know what she was talking about. I was like, I don't understand why I have to go talk to somebody and try to get to know somebody who is like either seemingly making mistakes a lot, or like being lazy, or etc. etc. I'm sure you can think of somebody in your workplace that is like this. And so time goes on, and maybe like half a year or a year goes by, and I keep working with this person, and eventually, I don't know how it came up, but eventually she told me that she had ADD or like ADHD or something like that. Or I don't know what she was. She was something, all right? She was neurodivergent. And if you don't know what neurodivergence is, you can Google it. But it also encompasses things like dyslexia, ADD, ADHD. It includes autism. It includes a lot more other stuff too. So if you don't know what it is, you should Google it. And she was telling me this, and how, when people think of, let's say like dyslexia, or like when people think of ADHD, they think of like a specific set of symptoms, right? But she showed me this infographic that was like, it's a lot more than that. And I should understand, right? Especially when I'm neurodivergent myself. But no, in the beginning, I was like so judgmental, and I was like, what the F? Why is she not getting this, or whatever? So more recently, now it's like 2 or 3 more years out, I was in this area and she was like in an area that works with this area, and I'm over here with this group of people who work in this area. And like she made some mistakes, and all of these people over here are like talking about CM, the Cookie Monster, and saying, I don't even know, just like saying like how bad she is, and like just saying like just being like very like exasperated with the whole situation, and like talking about her and wondering like what's wrong, or like, you know, like just like, you know, just like saying stuff, right? And like basically writing her off, right? And there was only, and so I'm sitting here like listening to them, and there's only like one person in this group who is sort of like defending the Cookie Monster, right? Like saying like, you know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know, just being like more, I don't know what the word is, just like giving people the benefit of the doubt, and like basically doing like basically thinking like my therapist wanted me to think about the Cookie Monster in the first place, which is like, you know, there's, I don't know, maybe she's like going through something, or like, I don't know, has something going on that's like causing her performance or whatever, I don't know. And I didn't say anything when we're like talking about her, and the reason I didn't say anything was like, well, yeah, I know she is neurodivergent, but I don't think I can, that's not my place to tell somebody else, you know, about like what is truly going on, right? That's not really, I can't really tell them that. And so I didn't say anything. In hindsight, in retrospect, I feel like I should have said something that was like vague, right? Like something like, I don't know, we don't know her situation, right? Like we don't know what's going on. And I wonder if that would have helped at all. I don't know. And this brings me to, and this is like an example of a psychological phenomenon called attribution bias, where when it's us, when we do something poorly, or we act in a way that is not in line with our values, or we make a mistake, we attribute the reason to being our circumstances or our environment. So like, let's say I make a mistake at work, and, you know, I will attribute it to, you know, lack of sleep, being burnt out from short staffing, or being burnt out from flipping back and forth from morning and evening shift, or what else, I don't know, personal things like my family, like my kids, anything. I will attribute my performance to like environmental factors, whereas when we look at somebody else and they make a mistake, then we attribute their mistake to their character. And this is the bias that we have all the time. And I guess I wanted to share this story with you because my therapist was right, and we really don't know what other people are going through, and like we always think it's like a character flaw, but it's actually probably a situational and environmental factor, or like some other factor that has nothing to do with somebody's character when they make a mistake. And I hope you remember the story of my Cookie Monster coworker. When you feel the urge to judge something or judge someone without really knowing them, and I want you to remember that I judged this person and she turned out, there was like a perfectly good reason for what was happening. and it was because she was neurodivergent, whether that's ADD, being dyslexic, being autistic, and that's not their fault and it's not a character flaw, and they just need accommodations. So I hope you remember this the next time you want to judge somebody. Okay? Okay. Alright. That is all. I love you. Bye bye.